My name is Moses Powell. I've been studying jiu-jitsu for the last 20 years. I'm the master for Renda Visitashino. And at this particular time, I'm a senior master in the art of jiu-jitsu Te and jiu-jitsu Ryu.
.radio.net presents to you some of the most deadly jiu-jitsu masters in the world. Trained in the vicious urban inner-city street combat system of Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, this art was created by the legendary Dr. Moses Powell, the father of American contemporary jiu-jitsu and the greatest martial artist of the 20th century. This network brings together 4 radio shows 4 nights a week, starting with Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Each one teach one, with the Pia Master himself, Grandmaster Urban Muhammad, and his protege, Professor Terrence Hale. Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Modern Combat Masters, hosted by the inheritor of GM Billy Davis Jiu-Jitsu, guru of his own Filipino system, and Sanukas Master, Grandmaster Daryl Sargent, and his co-host, Sifu Reseda de Jesus. Thursday nights at 9 p.m. is Professor Tom Curry's radio talk show. A Kenpo Master and Professor of Sanukas Ryu, 20 years law enforcement, senior tactical training instructor for intelligence retired, and author of the official Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu testing and training curriculum. And Friday nights at 8 p.m. is Making the Connection, hosted by the president of DocRadio.net, Grandmaster in the art of Sanukas Ryu and Soke of Kuroshi Kaikan martial arts system, and president of the Family of Sanukas organization, Soki Haisan Khalik, and his co-host, Shihan Farouk Gibbs. All of these shows can be linked to online by typing in docradio.net or listening live at the scheduled time by dialing 646-716-6825. DocRadio.net is also proud to present DocMagazine.net, the world's largest martial art magazine dedicated to Dr. Moses Powell, Sanukas Ryu Eye-to-Eye Jiu-Jitsu, Urban Tactical Street Self-Defense, and Streetology. Please join our Facebook group by typing in docradio.net and follow us on Twitter by typing docradio.net. Thank you for your support, and in the words of Doc, eye to eye, heart to heart, to the wall and back, os.
Eye to eye. This is Shabazz from senjokai. Just waiting for Sensei Salahaldin to come in and the Joker. We're going to be talking today about our dojo senjokai, which is a Sanuka, where we teach Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, which is a branch of warrior within dojo. And today we're going to be just going over some crucial questions and just some real in-depth questions with our sensei, who's been in the Sanukas Ryu system over 25 years. Just waiting for them to call in any time now. Yeah. Hello, Sensei? All right, just waiting. Sensei will be calling in any time now. Walker, the Joker. Sensei. Sensei.
What's she got at, man?
Hey, the Joker, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, what's going on, man? Brother Smith, how you doing, brother?
What's up, brother? I think hey, Sensei, you there?
Yes, sir. How we doing, gentlemen?
Hey, man, everybody, we all got to do 100 push-ups, man. This is crazy. Hey, Sensei.
Yes.
All right, everybody. All right, so this is our first interview. This is, on the radio station, Senjokai Dojo. And on the phone, we have the Joker, and we also have Sensei Salahaldin. The Joker is going to start off with the first 5 questions, and then I'm going to end with the first 5 questions. So I'm going to hand it over to the Joker.
What's going on? What's going on, Shihan?
Hey, how we doing? Joker, good to see you. Good to hear from you.
Hold on a second, Shihan. Hold on a second. No. You got that blood in there. That was my assistant helping me out. hey, Shihan. Hey, I got a couple of questions for you here. Let me see what I got here. Hold on. Hello. What my question is that, man? Hello. Let me see. Okay. Question there. Hold on. Hey, Shihan, I'm trying to find my question. I got it written down there for you somewhere. Here we go. Right here. Oh, here we go. All right. Oh, God. Well, I'm having some technical difficulties over here. Okay. All right. Shihan, what inspired you to get into the martial arts?
Okay. Well, I guess what inspired most people when I was young was probably like the Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris movies and things like that when I was much younger. And some of the amazing things we saw with the Kung Fu, some of the old Kung Fu clips and an old karate movie called Kill or Be Killed. Those things were probably my earliest influence where I am. And I owe a lot to where I am to those early Kung Fu and karate films from, I guess, the late 70s when I really started watching throughout the 80s.
I thought you were going to say The Last Dragon. Let me see what Bruce Leroy. That's what inspired me.
Actually, as an African American, and it was absolutely the Last Dragon that was a fundamental. And even before that, the Ron Van Cleef, I believe his name was, the Black Dragon, Return of the Black Dragon. Those early 70s, late 70s Kung Fu movies with Ron Van Cleef that he made in Hong Kong. Carl Scott. Those early African American pioneers in the martial arts films absolutely had a fundamental part. But I think with most people, because I think with most people, it probably was Bruce Lee, because although he was an Asian, he's pretty much universally known as the father, like really starting the martial arts craze throughout the world.
So Shihan, let's see. How did you find out about Dr. Moses Powell? What kind of man was he?
All right. Well, Dr. Moses Powell, who I knew when he was first called Professor. He was calling himself Professor and Grandmaster, were the titles when I met him in '85. The doc I knew in '85 was he was gentle, but he was dangerous. He was a deadly man, but he was a funny man. And he was, back, I looked through those teenage eyeglasses I was looking at. He was probably the most amazing martial artist I've ever seen in my life. I never had so much respect for a person as far as skill in my life. I've never seen anybody that could move like Doc was when I first walked into the dojo and saw him, and then, of course, Professor Gino, or Master June at the time, now Grandmaster Gino, when I saw those two gentlemen. But it was Dr. Moses Powell that got me hooked on jiu-jitsu. And he was, like I said, he was just, was just an all-around, just a great man. And he, some people describe him as legendary, and he absolutely is, especially for African-American martial artists. He's a legendary figure within the African-American martial arts culture, as well as the entire world culture of martial arts.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, a few things. Dr. Moses Powell he's a big guy, probably 6 feet, and I mean, it's like being a tall guy yourself. I mean, how does that affect your views of what a tall guy can do versus the normal 5 foot one jiu-jitsu practitioner?
Yeah, Doc was Doc was solid, and I was already I was a big kid, even in high school and middle school. I was a size 13 shoe by 6th, 7th grade, and I was already pushing 220, 225 pounds in middle school. So I was a big solid kid, not like I am today. I was a little lighter and a little bit more toned, if you know what I mean. And Doc took a liking to me because I was one of the youngest people in the dojos at that time. And he loved to call the big guys on the mat and demonstrate techniques from that. So I benefited from Doc and Gino and Kamal, Shihan, Kevin, Aaron, all these early people that were in the dojo when I was there. I benefited being one of the biggest guys. Although I was not the biggest, I was one of the big guys. And Doc used to love to, call me out and demonstrate techniques on me. And, he was gentle. He was gentle when he needed to be. But, boy, when he wanted to send a message, he sent the message, believe me.
Yeah. What was the training like under Dr. Poe's style? And what makes Sanukas Rule Jiu-Jitsu different from other systems?
All right, well, the training, I mean, you hear guys with these super stories about, these, like they were fighting dragons or something in dojos and things like that. No, I remember the dojo as being from South Florida, the dojo being, at some points it was quite full, and other points it was, there were a few people there. But the training was intense, and it was direct. We did a nice warm-up period of rollouts and things like that. We did our basic jiu-jitsu, Sanukas things, but then when Doc came out on the floor, after we got warmed up by either Gino or Shihan or a couple other, Kamal or some of the early pioneers in Florida, after we got through the warm-up, then it was, Doc, when Doc had that glare, we knew what the deal was. But Doc was usually, I got to see, laughing, joking, and giggling because, he had a bunch of professionals as well as, military and police and law enforcement, federal agents. So he had a nice mixture of people. So Doc was jubilant because, he had people that really wanted to learn self-defense, and he gave us pretty much a direct line to that, So the training, we didn't go out there and fight on icebergs and some of this other stuff you hear people saying from east to west, But we just did basic training, basic jiu-jitsu, and the thing I always remember and I always repeat is that the stuff Doc, remember, I got this from Doc. Doc said the stuff you learn today can save your life today. And I always remember that stuff. So I always keep that, when I teach, I always try to remember, I show my students something that can save their life today, not in 20 years after you master, a stance or something.
That's powerful. So every class, you want your students to be able to take something that they learn from that class out to the streets. If something happened, they will be able to use those techniques out in the street, from that one class. It's not like you come and you train for 2 or 3 weeks and you learn one technique in 2 or 3 weeks period of time. No, when they leave that class, you should be able to go out on the street, and if someone put you in this lock, or someone throw this attack, you want them to be able to defend themselves right there and there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Shihan.
Yeah, our Sanukas, when I say our Sanukas, I mean the Sanukas, the senjokai, the brand that our interpretation of what Sanukas rule was coming from Florida was, like I said, directly to the point, and and especially when Doc left Florida, Gino continued to emphasize that. Professor Gino at the time, now Grandmaster Gino, continued to emphasize those points. And absolutely, we did not believe in giving you anything that was useless, and that we were not a fitness club, we didn't believe in Bally's was right down the road. If you wanted to go ahead and work out and do jumping, do your jumping jacks and the whole shebang, you go to Bally's. If you wanted to learn self-defense, you came to Moses Power School of Self-Defense, and Sanukas rule number 2, owned by Gino Alfarano. That's when that's where you learn self-defense from.
And that mentioned Grandmaster Gino. Who is Grandmaster Gino? Tell me, who's Grandmaster Gino, and how would you describe your teacher's fighting style?
With Gino is actually my last living teacher, and Gino's fighting style was, straight to the point. Gino was I guess like all, I shouldn't say all, but a large portion of northern New York Italian, New York Italian fighters. They always, you got your Rocky, and you got, stuff like that. They like to box. So Gino approached everything from a boxing. He approached everything from from the streets, from he didn't really get into a traditional karate or traditional martial arts stance. Gino really didn't believe in stances. He believed in whatever stance you're in, that's the stance you're in. And so he taught from a lot of, instead of getting down low and stuff like that, he taught from a practical sense, And one of the things that we stressed was we always stressed practical over classical. So we didn't teach a classical form of martial arts. We taught an effective form of martial arts. And that's what I get mostly from Gino. Gino was, continue what Doc did and took it in a different level, And the other thing that Gino did, my instructor did, that I haven't seen anyone do, is where he really, really sat down with Doc, and Doc gave him what we call the peer nerve striking system, and he really, really understood that, and it can literally take somebody out with one shot,
Yes. What about Grandmaster? Who's Grandmaster Muhammad? Tell listeners, who's Grandmaster Muhammad Little, and how would you describe his fight style?
Yeah, I met Grandmaster Muhammad Little in late 1995, early 1996, right before the Olympics came into Atlanta. I moved up here from Florida, of course, and I called Dr. Powell, and I told him, listen, I wanted to continue my training. I had been training at that time for about a year and a half with the Sensei active jiu-jitsu instructor named Ted Hangulak in Coral Springs, South Florida. When I moved there, I left that dojo and ended up moving to Atlanta, Georgia. I wanted to get back into snookus because when I was training with Gino down in Florida, my only two instructors were Gino and Doc, so I never trained with anyone else at all in Florida. Although I had the opportunity to, I was told that our way of doing things to keep it within the family. So I stayed true to Doc and Gino. When I moved up here, Gino was retired and ran through and had some issues he was dealing with. And Doc at that time was up in, 1995. He was back up in New York, maybe on his way to Vermont or Connecticut at the time. And I called Doc, and he told me, actually he was in New York, because I called Doc, and he had told me that he had a gentleman in Atlanta by the name of Muhammad. And he told him, he didn't really mention his first name. He just said, get with Muhammad, look Muhammad up. And that was only a one-time phone call with Doc, about 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes, about 15, 20 minutes. And he just asking what was going on. He was asking about with Gino, and I was telling the situation with Professor Gino, how he was taking care of some other situations he had to deal with, and that the dojo was closed in late 93, 94, early 94. So Doc told me to get with Muhammad. I got here, and I looked for Professor Muhammad at the time for about 4 or 5 months. I had no idea who he was talking about. The only snookers I saw was a guy named Carol Little. And, I saw him in the phone book, I believe. Yeah, I saw him. He was a part of Dave Young's World Karate at that time. I saw him in the phone book, and I saw him, and I said, well, I never heard of this guy before. And so I didn't go, and I never went to see the brother. About, 2-3 months later, I was walking down in underground Atlanta, and I saw a gentleman with a Snookers Rule jacket on, the Snookers Rule Jiu-Jitsu jacket. And I wonder who this guy is. So I saw this man. I stopped him. I talked to him. And he said his name was Carol and blah, blah, blah. And he asked me who I was. So I said I trained with Dr. Moses Powell, and then I also trained with Professor Gino Alvarado. He said, oh, I know them. I said, huh? He said, yeah. I said, I trained with Doc. I said, oh, really? And then I said, well, you know who this guy Muhammad is in Atlanta? Who's this guy Muhammad? And he said, yeah, that's me. And that was it. That was it. And he told me, yeah, Muhammad. That's his name was Doc called him Muhammad because he came through the nation and some other channels, but I didn't know he was Muhammad. He was using his legal name, which was Carol Little at that time. So he straight up told me, he told me I'm Muhammad, and then became a at that moment I knew right then and there. I said this man here knows what he was doing, because I saw his knuckles, and boy, I said, ooh, I haven't seen knuckles like that since real. This guy had to be a real serious killer. And I thought he was crazy, because he kept looking at me like I was crazy, and he was looking at me, eyes wondering and nose, and he was just a strange person I saw. But when I got to talk to the man, he gave me his card. I went to see him, and I said, okay, this is it. And then I said, Doc told me to get with you. And then we called Doc, and Doc said, that's Muhammad. And ever since then, he's probably one of the most influential and the most honest man I ever met in my life. And I miss the brother.
Wow. Hey, Sensei, I'm gonna end with the last 5 questions, and just keep in mind we have 12 minutes left now.
Okay. Let's go.
All right. Who is Professor Saifullah, and how did you make the Warrior Within Alliance?
Good. Professor Saifullah Al-Amriki, Hachidan, 8th degree black belt out of Philadelphia. He's the humble director of the Warrior Within Dojo, which we happen to be members of. He was actually a student of Nathaniel McBride, and later on became a direct student and a loyal student to Dr. Moses Powell. And when I say loyal, he he's probably the most loyal student of Dr. Moses Powell outside of him and Grandmaster Muhammad that I've ever met. I haven't seen anybody, maybe Professor James Sims and Professor Veronica down there, Grandmaster Veronica. But Professor Saifullah is probably Dr. most loyal student. And he was a friend of Grandmaster Muhammad. And I was introduced to him through Grandmaster Muhammad via telephone calls. And me and Grandmaster Muhammad were supposed to go up to New York after Doc, I think it was 2007, I think, or 2009, either 2 or a couple of years after Doc passed. We were supposed to go to New York City. Grandmaster Muhammad couldn't make it. I ended up going representing him, and then that's how I met Senior Professor Salahaldin August. And ever since that day, he's always had my back, and I consider him a friend and a brother, and I'm honored to be a member of his association, the Warrior Within Dojo.
Sensei, tell me about one of your most memorable Sanukashu demonstrations, particularly the one you were telling me about when you was in New York, and they said that's Gino's student. Tell us about that experience.
Absolutely. We did the demonstration at Hillside Dojo, and at that time, and I'll keep it short as possible, at that time, this was up.
10 minutes.
We were up there. I'm sorry?
We have 10 minutes left. 3 more questions.
All right. No problem. We were up there. We were up there honoring the legacy of Grandmaster Professor Visitation, Professor V. And we went to Hillside Dojo, and there were a few other people there. Eric Allen was there, who's the brother of Chris Allen down here in Marietta, Georgia, and a few other people were there. And Grandmaster Muhammad was there, and I believe Mataka Beer was there, and a few other people were there in Hillside Dojo. I believe it was in New Jersey. At that time, when I was there, I simply had a black belt on, and no one knew my rank. Doc introduced me as this is my, of course everybody knew Muhammad because he had came up and Muhammad Khalil taught everybody the forms, but no one knew me. Doc introduced me as a student, one of his students, and as a student of Cal Muhammad Little and of Gino Alfarano. And he simply said, "This is my man Frenchie. He's from Florida, but he's in Atlanta with Muhammad." And he told me, "Watch out for this guy. He was one of the guys who trained with me and Gino in Florida." And put me with the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th degree black belts. So I ended up working out with some of the black belts. Even though at that time I was very, very junior in rank, maybe a 2nd, 3rd down black belt.
All right. As an up-and-coming Sanukashu practitioner of the new generation, what would you say is the current state of Sanukashu, and what role does senjokai play in the current state of Sanukashu?
Well, Sanukashu has this, we have our good points, we have our bad points like all other martial arts. Yeah, and Sanukashu is, one thing I don't want people to understand is Sanukashu is just not one thing. Sanukashu was an evolution from New York to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Atlanta, Chicago, back to New York again. Doc was always evolving, and so was his art. What the senjokai focuses on mainly is trying to bring those 4 schools together, and also the Warrior Within Dojo. We're trying to bring those four schools together, and what our specialty is, where Saifullah would be more northerner, New York and Philadelphia, I would be more southern as far as Georgia and Fort Lauderdale and Miami. So we're just trying to put all aspects of Sanukashu together and try to put a more complete art of Sanukashu. Because once we see the entire picture of Sanukashu, we really understand that no one really has it. We only have a piece of it, but it's all our job to go and get it all.
Okay, last 2 questions. What is your ultimate vision for the Senjokai Dojo and for the Sanukashu system?
Actually, it's the same vision, so we can answer this one with the same answer. To be the most dominant and respected jiu-jitsu system in the world, period.
Okay, and the last question is this. Why did you decide to wait 10 years before you get your 7th degree black belt? And what is your idea of what a grandmaster is?
Well, for me, listen, I was promoted when Doc passed away. I was promoted to Godan by Grandmaster Muhammad Little. I was a young dog when Doc was alive. And for him to think that I was half as good as Doc was an honor, but it's just something I never believed I was half as good as Doc. And even now, me being a Rokudan 6th degree black belt, I still, if Doc is the delta or the crest of the mountain, I just don't see myself as being nowhere, 6/10 up that mountain. You know what I mean? So I'm really, the problem with most system and with most Westerners, I should say as a whole, is that we're more rank crazy than curriculum crazy and technique crazy. Me, I've always been more let me get the crux of the techniques and let me get the majority of the techniques, and then you can judge me later on. So I've never been rank crazy. So one of the things before Grandmaster Muhammad passed, one of the things that I told him that I wanted was that I thought that the ranking of the Sanukashu was a little flawed as far as people were outranking. Their ranks were higher than their skills were. So one of the things that I put on me was a self-imposed sanction of at least being a Shihan for 10 years, you know, or at least after go down, you should wait 10 years between your ranks. And this, like I said, this is something that's self-imposed and something that was agreed upon by both Grandmaster Muhammad Little and also Gino Alferano, who I spoke to recently about it. Just to get away from the rank, because there is no rank on the street. You know, the rank on the street is to get home safely. So I've always been about that. So, you know, it's funny. Most people rank out. You know, they outrank their age. You know. So for me, I'm happy with being a 6-dan for a long time. I have no inclinations, and I'm glad this is being videotaped or recorded. I have no inclinations. I'm moving up, trying to run up to 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th degree. I'm just trying to push a very strong caliber of jiu-jitsu of Sanuka's root and put it back where it used to be, and put Moses Powell, Gino Alferano, and Professor Cal Muhammad Little where they should be, and that's at the top of the mountain when we speak of the art of jiu-jitsu.
I'm going to use the last 5 minutes to talk a little bit about our website, our dojo. To all the listeners, you can visit us at senjokai.com. That's senjokai.com. Or you can visit us at senjomartialarts.com. One thing about this site is that we're using Ustream technology, so either you will always see a live stream and seminar, or you can catch us on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and you'll catch the first 15 minutes of class stream on the homepage. So if it doesn't matter if you're in China, if you're in Bangladesh, wherever you are in the world, if you're in Miami, Chicago, Brooklyn, Los Angeles, or even Mississippi, you can catch our dojo. We also will have a live. We also will have our seminar stream. We try to do monthly seminars throughout the Atlanta area. Soon we'll be going nationally. We also have online training. With the online training, we'll be teaching principles of the system, and you will get a certificate in the principles of Sanuka's rule, which you can take back to your own martial arts, whether it's taekwondo, karate, whatever it is. But the principles that you learn in Sanuka's rule can only help aid as a tool in your own system. We also have a store. We also have the senjokai store. We have over 50,000 products online, everything from gis to weapons to books to uniforms to mats. Anything that you need, you can purchase it on the store. And lastly, at the very bottom of the site, we invite you to become one of our friends. Just feel free to tweet with us. You can also check out our technique of the month. Currently, this month we have the Joker doing the technique, but every single month we'll be alternating these techniques. And we have 4 minutes left, and I'm going to let. By the way, that's very good technique. We have 4 minutes left, and I'm going to let the Joker and Sensei talk, and then I'm going to wrap it up. But just when we got 4 minutes left.
Close. All right, Joker Walker. Listen, Grandmaster Gino, we really enjoyed watching your Ponce and Nagi. You know, the street effective version of it. It was almost effortless, and he really enjoyed it. He couldn't believe that you were at your current rank. When he saw it, he was like, it was a phenomenal technique, and he didn't even see a flaw in it. And that's something that means a lot coming from my instructor. So I want to make sure that's out there. Very good technique.
You know, you told me that. I mean, just you personally. I mean, I haven't seen it in Ali's eyes when he's looked at the video. I mean, that's just something I've been doing, you know, just in class. And even when I saw him looking at it, and I looked at it, and every time I show the video, he then just look at it. It's just for y'all to just, you know, tell me how it was. Hey, man, that means the world to me. You know, that means the world to me. And then you say that, you know, that Gino, Grandmaster Gino, said this also. Oh man, hey, this is giving me more fuel to get up in there and stay in class and continue rolling and just continue training hard under your instructors. And you know, I appreciate it. You know, I'm very thankful for what you're giving us, what you're showing me and Shabazz and the rest of the guys down at senjokai.
Absolutely. And real quick, for all my friends overseas, Hong Kong, Germany, Syria. All the members of the senjokai who didn't have the opportunity to officially be members, but who are online or will be online, welcome to the senjokai, and please enjoy these techniques. And we owe a big thanks to Furkan Shabazz for helping with this. If it wasn't for him, let me be very clear. If it wasn't for this gentleman, none of this would be possible, and the senjokai dojo would still be just a small dojo with a few members. So he's definitely taken us worldwide. And we owe a lot to him, all right? And with him and our good, strong alliance with our brother Sensei Salahaldin August and the Warrior Within Dojo, who also has branches in Qatar and Saudi Arabia and places all over the world. We plan on spreading this message out there.
Oh, and I just want to thank, and I also want to return back. We have 1 minute 43 seconds. I just want to record this.
Yes,
my first introduction to Snooker's rule was under Soki Hassan Khalika as a little child, about maybe 14, 15, and that was the first time I ever seen jiu-jitsu. And from that time, he left that seed in my mind. And when I left New York, college kind of thing, we got 90 seconds left. But in my journeys, I always wanted to get back to that original teaching, and I went through at least over 15 masters. And the next time I ever seen someone that was at the caliber of Soki Hassan was Sensei Salahaldin August. And when I seen him, he inspired me to basically rededicate my life to jiu-jitsu. In closing, I just want to say eye to eye. At the heart. And for anyone else who want more information, you can visit us at 241 Daniel Avenue. We got 60 seconds left. You can visit us at 241 Daniel Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, and the website is senjokai.com. Us.
And if I can add with these last few seconds, much respect to all the elders in Snooker's Rule, Soki Hassan, all the early people, Professor Rahman, Nathaniel McBride, Noah Harrington, all the old seniors, much respect is due.
Us. And I'm going to say one last time, Dojo, eye to eye.
Eye to eye.
Us.
Us.